Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. What's up, Tristan? What's up, Tiff? What's up, Ass? Alcohol. I'll be with you in just a second.
Yes, of course, hence the name. Movement, it moves a certain distance, then it stops, you see. A revolution gets its name by always coming back around in your face. You tried to kill me, you son of a bitch. So welcome to the revolution.
I'm standing up here bashing the living shit out of Nazis.
All right, what do you say we hop right in? What's going on, guys? I'm Boston Bryant. This is Blunt Politics. I really do appreciate you for joining me. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you like what you're watching. If you like what you're hearing at the end of the show, hit that subscribe button. It means a lot, goes a long way in helping us in the old algorithm. Shout out to everybody over there on this space. Thank you to the mods. Thank you to Matt, as always, for allowing me to, broadcast simultaneously over there. So I appreciate everybody also in the chat. Please make sure you hit the like button in your respective platforms, wherever you may be watching this. A lot to get to. As always, it's never a dull moment, especially when you're covering politics in today's day and age. We'll be taking a look at some of Trump's more, I don't know what you'd call them, embarrassing moments in Asia. We got also some news, some pretty unsurprising news coming from Gaza, as Israel has conducted more strikes and I believe killed over 100. I'm not exactly sure what the time frame is on that. We'll also be talking about Ukraine hits Moscow, which is really good to see. And then we got an iHip video from the I've Had It ladies talking about Trump slammed with bad news after leaked docs expose his third-term scheme. I know everybody's been talking about it. Mike Johnson had a comment on it. Tommy Tuberville had a fucking comment on it. And every single one of them seems to be this like talking out of both sides of your mouth, mealy mouth bullshit, where they, on one hand, want to recognize that they know it's not possible, but on the other hand, being like, well, never count Trump out, or he's just trolling, but it's also possibly possible. And like, they're trying to leave that road open. And, nobody here on the left is dumb enough to take this as a joke. Nobody here on the left is dumb enough to, again, not take this threat seriously, especially when he continues to bring this up. But what do you say we dive right into it? Let's say thank you to the mods. First off, thank you so much, Rox. Thank you, Tiff. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Mark. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, Mel. Thank you, Locata. Thank you, all you guys. Thank you, Jen. I really do appreciate all your help. Thank you for keeping that chat a safe space. What's up, No Money G? What's up, Julie? What's up, Dame? What's going on, everybody? I appreciate you. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in. What's up, Tricinia? What's up, Roxanne? Hi, Julie, Ask, Kristen. You guys are fantastic. What's up, Falco? Heroium Slava to you, my friend. Appreciate you. What's up, Bonnie? I feel good about today. That's good. I like when people feel good. What's up, Flipper? Appreciate you guys. Hit that like on the way in. And let's see if we can hop right into it, as this is the afternoon show. So I only have an hour with you today, and then I'll be joining you later tonight. And again, check out, make sure you're watching out for my videos over on the Dollarmore Daily. Not so much today, but I believe starting tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. My head's all going around in circles. I'm, again, still about as nervous as I could possibly be about that whole situation, but I'm feeling a little better about it. I've knocked out a couple so far, so I feel good. What's up, Uncle Mark? What's up, brother? I appreciate you, man. Please make sure you hit that like button on the way in. Thank you so much. All right, let's jump into just a couple of these. I know we were covering Trump's Japan trip yesterday, talking about the hypocrisy and him and what he used to do and say about John McCain and moving the USS John McCain into the background on a 2019 trip to Japan, to the same naval base that he spoke at yesterday or the day before. But yeah, this is a moment that people are talking about here, because people are talking about just how gingerly he seems to get out of this plane, right? Like, check out how he's walking down these steps. If you haven't seen this yet, this is Trump arriving in Busan, South Korea on Air Force One. And just check out how he moves down these steps. I don't know if the cankles are just extra sore today for some reason. I don't know if maybe, like, the soles on the bottom of the feet are hurt from all the golf he's been doing. It's definitely not from exercising. We know that. So I don't know. Maybe it has to do with some of these health scares, these health problems, the health issues and the MRI we've been talking about, that Donald Trump maybe, because he failed the animal test. Maybe that's why he's not walking right. But tell me what you think here. I'll play this and let me know if you think he's walking a little bit gingerly, right? Maybe if the socks he's got on are cutting off the circulation to the old kanks. Well, just before I say this, he's always very, cognizant of the steps. Like he's very afraid of being that person that falls up or down the steps. So he's always looking at the next step. So that's not really strange, but he doesn't typically lumber or, fucking struggle down the steps to this extent, as far as I can recall. Jerk offs, 1-2 pumps on the jerk. Open-fisted jerk. So that was nice. There must be more than one person around. All right. So that's about 32 seconds from the time he came out of the plane to the time he takes his first step. And I know he's got to come out and wave and do all the bullshit, but that's a bit excessive, right? Well, take a look at how gingerly he comes down. 1, 2. Oh, that was a double stepper. That was a put 2 feet on the same step. That must be an extra wide one. Yep. The fucking picture of health, ladies and gentlemen. The picture of an alpha male. Oh, it's amazing, right? And combine this with the footage that we showed yesterday, where the Japanese prime minister is literally trying to, or has to walk this guy around with a fucking leash because he's just wandering aimlessly wherever he wants. And the gods, even these stoic gods that most of the time are like the fucking, outside of the British fucking palace, they don't really move unless, provoked. Typically now they're the ones pointing their hands like, all right, dude, like go this way. No, just follow the line, go around. You guys stand on the podium. It's pretty easy. We rehearsed this pretty good. But I don't know. A lot of people were talking about this. He was lumbering, wasn't looking too healthy, as he never does. See if I can get him. Let's see if we can get a little footage of him walking. They show him walking a little bit. Sits there and talks. Yaps. There you go. A little ginger. Straight line, sir. Christ, he's all over the place. The only guy in the world that doesn't drink would still fail a DUI test at any moment in the day if he took one. What's up, Tina? What's up, Jim? What's up, Leron? What's going on, my man? What's up, Gamer? Appreciate you guys. What's up, Tom? What's up, Boston? Mary, let's go. What's up, Mary? How are you? What's up, PJ? Appreciate you guys. Cats and Jam, what's happening? You guys are amazing. Thank you for hitting that like button. Thank you for subscribing to the channel. But I just wanted to kind of people that was catching people's attention. Another clip that was getting people's attention was this one, where Donald Trump pretty much threatens sending in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and anybody else he wants into any city that he wants, saying that he has tacit permission to do so. He's now talked about not needing Congress. He's now talked about, conducting wars without the approval of Congress. So I don't know what we really deem as a dictator or an authoritarian or, a king in today's day and age, but I would think that somebody that, kind of has an end around not only the Constitution, but the end around Congress, thinks he can send our own military forces into our own cities again without any repercussions, and it's not breaking a law. I'd say that's probably somebody acting dictatorially, right? Somebody that's pretty much taken over their role as an authoritarian in, consolidated power to a point that he thinks nobody can question it. So again, let's take a look at this. This is just a 2-minute clip here, where he's talking about, again, sending in the Army, Navy, Air Forces, and Marines, and I think invoking the Insurrection Act, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if we can take a look at this. You might have to turn it up a little because it's on shitter.
What did you mean last night when you said you were prepared to send more than the National Guard into American cities?
Sure, I would do that.
So the question is being asked, and for some reason the audio doesn't match up with the, visually with what he's saying, but the audio is a little better on this one than most of the clips that I found. But he's asked basically about the Insurrection Act and sending more National Guard troops into U.S. cities, and this is his response.
That if it was necessary, if it was necessary to do that, but it hasn't been necessary. We're doing a great job without that, but yeah, it was necessary. As you know, allowed to do that.
Do you mean
If
other
I
branches
want.
of the military you would send in, or
Who are you with?
the New York Times?
Oh, that's very good. Very good.
So he was asked if he would consider sending in different branches of the military, not just the National Guard or the Marines that he brought up during his first fucking stint trying this out in California. But now obviously being asked if he's willing to send in, the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines, fucking Space Force, whatever, who knows.
Well, if you write it correctly, I'll give you the answer. But, if I want to enact a certain act, I'm allowed to do it.
If I want to enact a certain act, they're talking about the Insurrection Act. He said he's allowed to do it. And he goes on to
Routinely,
say,
and about 50% of presidents have used that, as you know, and I'd be allowed to do whatever I want. But we haven't.
I'd be allowed to do whatever I want. Direct quote out of the mouth from Donald Trump right now on Air Force One. Like, I'm allowed to do whatever. Like, does the media need any more than that in order to deem this guy a dictator, an authoritarian, somebody that sees himself as a king and doesn't need to follow the rules, regulations, laws, the Constitution, Bill of Rights, that sort of thing at all whatsoever? Can we at least agree on that much at least? Is that pretty much, apparent in this clip?
Chosen to do that because we're doing very well without it. But I'd be allowed to do that, you understand? And the courts wouldn't get involved, nobody would get involved. And
The courts wouldn't get involved. And again, he's talking about sending the Air Force, the Navy, the Marines, the Army into fucking U.S. cities. And he's saying that the Supreme Court wouldn't get involved. No courts would get involved. Nobody would say anything. And if they did, they would have no jurisdiction to, because again, he's king.
I could send the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines. I could send anybody I wanted. But I haven't done that because we're doing so well without it. Washington, D.C. continues to be amazing, safe, and it's really great. As I said, Memphis, where we are now, is doing really well. It's down, I think, almost 70%. And within 2-3 weeks, it'll be down to almost no crime. Now, we're taking a lot of bad people out. We're incarcerating some very bad people, some gangs. They have a lot of bad gangs there, and we're taking care of it. And we're doing things that, frankly, local law enforcement is going to have a hard time doing. But we were all set to go last Saturday into San Francisco. We look forward to that. We would have solved that problem in less than a month. But at the behest of a couple of really great people, very successful, great civic-minded people, they said, we'd love to try doing it ourselves, and that's okay.
So basically, he's talking about how he wanted to continue to put, this policy in San Francisco. And I'm sure a lot of his rich friends that have businesses located in the area, pretty much talked him out of that idea and said, how about we take a different route, as to not throw this city into chaos. We've seen what's going on in other cities. We've seen what's taking place. We've seen how ICE acts. We've seen how the citizens are treated, and we'd rather not have that done in our city. So, it would probably affect my bottom line. I don't really care. And this is Donald Trump's friends talking, of course. They don't really care about so much the people being hurt, but, more so the effect to their bottom lines that they would see, in a deserted city that Trump has locked down with fucking army militia roaming the streets.
Okay, and we worked with the mayor, and we're working with those people, but we didn't surge the city. And I said, if we surge, it's going to go a lot quicker, and it's...
Talking about surging the city. That's the term he's using, is surging his own cities. The cities that he is presiding over, right? He's the president of this country, and he's talking about surging with military force those cities. I mean, again, this is nuts. This is fucking insane talk. This is fucking a bag of orange skin draped over a fucking casket of bones with absolutely no brain attached, acting in the most fucking maniacal, dangerous, reckless way possible. Okay, this is him knowing that this is his fucking last hoorah, whether it be because his last breath is already formed inside of those fucking decrepit lungs of his, or because he's actually realized at this point that this country will fucking flip its shit if he tries to actually run for a third term. I'm not sure which one of those has made him realize this, but he's going to fucking take anything and everything he possibly can get. He's going to break every rule, regulation, process, and fucking way of life that we know as being, the norm that he possibly can before he fucking waltzes his way out the door with the fucking, with the house burning in the background. And that's what's going on here. And, people are afraid to call it out. The media is afraid to call it out because of the lawsuits. But here at Blunt Politics and at, some of these other great progressive reporters and people here on YouTube, we're not afraid to fucking call it out. We're not afraid to fucking tell it how it is, right? This is, again, an egomaniacal fucking, fucking sociopathic piece of shit that knows his last breath is, again, formed inside his lungs already, and he's just waiting for it to fucking come out of his throat. Or he's recognized that fucking people will have him on a pike if he tries to run for a fucking third term. Now he's just going to try to wrap up everything he possibly can. Anything he can get his grubby ass, dirty, corrupt, stanky ass, fucking woman abusing fucking hands on as he possibly can.
The rest of my life, I have the curse that I have little hands. Little hands. He referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small.
Hey, you got a little chubby going there.
All right, so this small, pathetic, insignificant piece of shit trying to do everything he can to accrue and amass power before he fucking exit this planet fucking stage left.
Much more effective, but I want to give them a chance to do it themselves if they can. If they can't do it themselves, we'll solve San Francisco in 3 weeks.
I just wanted to make sure to play that one as he's talking about, again, not needing to listen to anybody. The courts don't have a damn thing to say to him. They can't touch him. The Supreme Court, Congress is not needed in order to, again, start just randomly killing people in international waters. Another fucking 14 in another 4 strikes. Another 14 people killed in another 4 strikes posted by Pete Kegseth, our drunken, woman-abusing, Secretary of State. Secretary of War. My apologies on that one. They changed their fucking name so much that I'm having trouble. Oh, thank you, Kim. Very nice of you. Thank you so much for being here for 4 months, and you're absolutely right about your statement. But thank you so much for your contributions. I appreciate you being here. Please make sure that we're thanking Kim for and congratulating Kim on being here for 4 months and thanking her for her contributions to the channel. What's up, Alyosha? What's up, buddy? What's up, Rob Law? What's up, Laser Sword? Olga, how are you? Hey, Eric. All right, so let's head on to, again, the most unsurprising news probably of the day, something that we've covered extensively here on Blunt Politics, which is the non-existent, ceasefire that is just the most ridiculous thing, to ever be applauded by the mainstream media. It's something that is far and away not what we're seeing in reality. And this is just a little Guardian video. It's only about a minute long, talking about the new Israeli strikes in Gaza, killing at least 104 as ceasefire looks increasingly fragile, which is just the understatement of the century. As you're reporting on another 104 people being killed in strikes, the fact that you can even put the word ceasefire in that is just a fucking joke. You're talking about firing and murder as you're, again, talking about a ceasefire. Those two things cannot go hand in hand. And then we have another one here kind of giving us a little bit more information from CBS. This is a little bit more detailed in its coverage. So what do we say? We start with this one from The Guardian, and then we'll work our way towards that. And then we'll get into Ukraine, and then we'll get into the I've Had It podcast and see what the I've Had It ladies have to say. All right? I appreciate you guys. Thanks. Hit that like button. I'm Boston Brian. This is Blunt Politics. I appreciate you joining me. I really do. So let's get into it. So I don't think there's any commentary on this, so I'll just read it out loud. Israeli airstrikes on Gaza overnight killed at least 104 Palestinians, including children. This woman says, they bombed right next to us. Suddenly we saw all the rubble on top of us. On top of our children and our elderly. I pulled my son from under the rubble. I found his head injured and covered in blood. God knows if he will live or not. God is my refuge. And of course, on scene, you're seeing, apparent evidence and destruction from those attacks. These strikes appear to be the gravest challenge yet to increasing fragile U.S. brokered. Again, the fact that you can even say or put the word ceasefire in this video is a joke. It's just a fucking disgrace. He says there was meant to be a truce, that they took hostages and we were done. Footage shows Palestinians inspecting the damage. Removing the bodies of some of those killed by the strikes. We want this to end. I am 27 years old, says a Bedjarata neighbor of building that was struck. I don't know how to do anything, war or no war. We are tired. We are fed up. We want to get out of this situation. Because everyone around us is suffocating. It says Palestinians gathered at Al Hadli Arab Hospital in Gaza City, praying for those that were killed in the strikes. Netanyahu ordered the strikes after what he called Hamas violations of the ceasefire. Saying an attack by Palestinian militants had killed one soldier. And then that brings us to this, which kind of gives us a little bit more information as to what's going on here. This is from CBS, titled Israel Pounds Gaza. Let's see here. My apologies.
To the agreement by Hamas militants. Now, despite...
It says Israel pounds Gaza in deadly strike over Hamas apparent ceasefire violations. Again, even including the word ceasefire as a joke, but let's see what this has to say.
The latest test to the fragile U.S. brokered peace deal, President Trump says the overall agreement is not at risk.
They killed an Israeli soldier, so the Israelis hit back, and they should hit back. When that happens, they should hit back.
Do you think that?
And again, so how are we calling this a ceasefire? How is this in any way, can any fucking normal person with a head on their shoulders in any way be calling this a ceasefire? If one's blaming the other side and you're giving permission to the other side to continue the strikes, regardless of what they say, and regardless of how, what the scope of the retaliation is in retaliation to what the actual fucking, original violation was to the ceasefire. I mean, this is fucking ridiculous. This is just, it's not even living in reality at this point. It's anybody who's continuing to call this a ceasefire or say there's some possible way for this ceasefire to hold or calling it a fragile. It's ridiculous. It's insane. And you're a moron if that's what you're calling this. A ceasefire means no more fucking firing. You know what this is? Firing. That's what that is. You know what strikes are? It's a fucking fancy word. It's another way to say fucking firing, shooting, killing. God damn it. It's so fucking frustrating.
Does that worry you about the ceasefire? Does that jeopardize the ceasefire?
No, nothing's going to jeopardize.
No, it doesn't jeopardize. 104 people dying in retaliation for, an alleged IDF soldier being killed. That, and again, giving permission to Israel to continue those strikes, if that happens, is in no way a problem. It's not a hindrance to the ceasefire. Can we recognize how fucking ridiculous that is in the chat? Please tell me you recognize how ridiculous that is.
You have to understand, Hamas is a very small part of peace in the Middle East, and they have to behave.
BBC News Middle East analyst Sebastian Usher is following all of this from Jerusalem for us and joins us now. Sebastian, good morning. Tell us more about these violations Israel says it responded to, and help our viewers understand why, despite the killing of a number of people, the ceasefire deal appears to be intact.
Because it's not a real deal, you asshole. You fucking moron. It is not a real deal. It's not intact. It never was intact. It's not a fucking real deal. It was never going to be agreed to or lived up to by either fucking side. It's complete and utter bullshit that's going to be fucking totally overridden regardless of what happens. And people are going to be told to look the other way. And that this is going to be some success regardless of the number of fucking people we see die from the time that this so-called fucking non-existent ceasefire was signed up until, I don't know, current day, is just, it's ridiculous to even consider the fact that this ceasefire agreement is not only in place, but being upheld after reporting on 104 people being killed in airstrikes. Like, how is that any different than the actual war that was going on to begin with? Seems to me like the same exact fucking thing. An over fucking attack, an over retaliation, killing fucking 100 times more people than you say was committed by the violation or by the other side. Right? So how is that not the exact same fucking thing that we saw take place beforehand? What's changed?
Well, Israel seems to have launched the strikes, which are the deadliest wave of attacks since the ceasefire came into effect, after an Israeli soldier was killed north of Gaza, where soldiers are trying to dismantle and destroy the remaining underground networks there, which have played such a big role during this war in terms of Hamas's capabilities, military, but also where the hostages have been kept. It also...
Now again, do these look like scenes of a ceasefire on your fucking on your screen right now? Does this look like a ceasefire? Does this look like a peace agreement? Does this look like, you know, people being able to move back into their fucking territory to rebuild? Is that what we're looking at here?
Came as the issue of the remaining bodies of the dead Israeli hostages. There's still problems over that. The Israeli officials...
Oh, you mean that problem that we talked about here on Blunt Politics a full week before this fucking agreement was even a thing? You mean that thing that we're talking about and I warned you guys to watch out for as a fucking sticking point, as something that was going to be a point of contention in this whole thing and could fucking bring the whole thing down? Do you mean that thing that I told you to watch out for that we're actually seeing play out right now before our very eyes? Where the Israeli intelligence, Israeli government, and the U.S. intelligence and U.S. government knew damn well that it was a fucking physical impossibility to have these hostages returned, especially where they don't know where the fuck they are. Or if they're lying under fucking, 100, 10 tons, fucking 20 tons of rubble. You know? And that's, again, being used as justification for any number of these violations.
The Israeli authorities believing essentially that Hamas is playing for time, but it would be able to deliver those bodies, to hand them over much more quickly than they've been doing. The Israelis put up a video yesterday which they said was evidence of Hamas essentially staging a fake recovery of a body. So later last night, the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered a wave of what he called powerful strikes, and that's what they were. They were across Gaza, in Gaza City, in the center of Gaza, in Han Yunis. Now, the Israeli military has issued a statement this morning saying that it struck 30 militant commanders. Didn't give more details about who they were or where they were. Reports that we have from medical sources, from officials.
Again, struck being killed, struck being fired upon, struck being air assaults, struck being not a ceasefire, right? So they didn't cease firing. They actually continued firing. So this is just an ongoing battle at this point. There is no ceasefire. It's irrelevant. There are no fucking talking points being stuck to. There are no fucking bullet points being stuck to. Both sides are fucking blaming the other side, and there's still people dying on a daily basis. So again, we're right back to where we fucking started, where we said we were going to be. But everybody wants to fucking pat Donald Trump on the back in the media and praise him for peace in the Middle East when nothing has fucking changed.
In Gaza say that a number of children were killed, a number of women were killed, that in some instances 5 or 6 people were killed at one time. These are all images, these are all scenes reminiscent of the war at its height, which...
Correct, which has not stopped, right? So the only thing that's changed is the Palestinian people have now been allowed back in, so these strikes are now going to kill even more people. Right? You see what's going on here? So, when we showed those videos of the Palestinians being able to fucking, come back into the land that's been fucking utterly destroyed so they can have some semblance of a life, so they can rebuild some semblance of a home, right? Some semblance of a fucking community. So now there's inevitably going to be more people per square foot, per fucking square mile than there were beforehand. And this is going to be even more catastrophic if this thing kicks back off. Again, to the extent, to the height at which we saw, before the any of these fucking talks were to happen. You know what I mean? Because you just think more people in there is going to lead to more fucking deaths.
Of course, gives a sense that the ceasefire is becoming more and more fragile. I think
it's broken. It's broken. Can we get it through this fucking your thick skulls? Stop calling it a ceasefire. It's gone. It's over. This ended it. If it wasn't ended already, if you didn't want to fucking tell them that it was over to begin with, when the first, 4 to 6 to 10 to 20 fucking people died, then can we call it over now? It's over. It's done. There is no ceasefire. Nobody has ceased firing.
Though when President Trump says that it won't be jeopardized, he's of course talking about
Look
the big...
at that fucking shot. I mean, that is just absolutely remarkable to see. just utter devastation as far as the eye can see. That is just fucking gross. Sorry.
A picture. The picture that at the moment, Israel, the Israeli government, has no reason to launch full all-out hostilities against Hamas, against the other factions in Gaza, and that Hamas hasn't got the military and the will to do so. But the problem is that this first phase of the ceasefire is still not really heading with any real momentum towards the next. And that is going to be even more difficult to get across the line and to ensure that the war genuinely does come to an end.
Can you even imagine even fucking running it through your thick skull, trying to talk about phase 2 of this process? What's going on in phase 1? Can we just talk about that? We can't even get through step 1 of phase 1 of act 1 of chapter 1. We haven't even gotten through the fucking introduction yet. And people are like, oh, I don't know. Fucking chapter 2 is definitely in. You think? You fucking think? Well, did you actually have some fucking trust in the competence and Donald Trump to actually get peace in this fucking process? Come on, man. You know better than that.
Sebastian in Jerusalem.
And speaking of, a situation in which we have absolutely no trust whatsoever in, Donald Trump getting peace in, we head now to Ukraine, which this military show video is titled Ukraine Hits Moscow Hard. Putin Loses Control of His Own Skies, which is, again, just kind of on this ongoing path of, successes that we've seen by the Ukrainian military, not just in its oil refinery strikes, not just in, its strikes in, in and around Russian bases inside of Russia, not just in its, not just in the area around Pokrovsk, in, deterring, several different Russian armored advances, but also taking back territory, separating Russian units from their main columns and surrounding them. So it's been a pretty good role reversal in the last, 2-3 months that we've seen, and it's a good thing to see. We've also seen, like I said, the sanctions been put in place by the United States, added onto the ongoing attacks on the oil refineries, which would have or could have crippling effects, which we're hoping to see. But let's just take a look at a few minutes of this video, and then we'll dive into this I've Had It podcast to finish it out, to round it out, and then I'll let you guys go. But let's dive into just a few minutes of this, just kind of giving us an update on this latest strike, because anytime Ukraine strikes inside of Moscow, or, whatever information we'll hear here, it's definitely news to report. So what do you say we dive into it? Slava Ukraini, Heroyam Slava. Thank you very much, guys. Hit that like button. Oh, you know what I should do, though? Would be very good is to kind of show you the right video on the screen. That would be fantastic. So let me just play that 4 seconds over, and we'll do that again.
Ukraine just brought the war right to the heart of Russia, hitting Moscow hard with one of the largest attacks on the country's capital since the conflict began. Despite encircling the city with a ring of radars and air defense systems, the Kremlin seemed to be caught off guard by this attack, with multiple explosions ringing out around the city and thick plumes of smoke captured on camera too. It's one of the clearest signs yet that Ukraine is in the ascendancy, and Vladimir Putin has completely...
And this could be like, I don't know, I know because I love history, I'm hoping that I attract some history buffs in the chat, but you can kind of compare these type of things to maybe the Doolittle raid, right? If anybody knows their World War II history, the Doolittle raid, launched against Tokyo the first time that these aircraft had been launched from, a Navy aircraft carrier. They ended up being forced to launch their planes even earlier because they were detected. But yeah, because the strike wasn't meant to do like overwhelming damage. And I don't think, like you said, any of these are going to have that effect, but it does have a crippling effect on the mental health of the people, the Russians in and around Moscow. They continue to see the strikes on the oil refineries, which kind of, depicts a situation in which, says that your air defenses are very inadequate and not up to the task. And that's kind of okay to the Russians in St. Pete, in Moscow, in, Vladivostok, and, and any of the, the bigger built up areas. But as soon as that starts getting closer to home, as soon as that, the lack of air defense and like the miscalculations and, the shitty weaponry or the shitty ammunition that hasn't been stored properly, as soon as that starts getting a little closer to home, a little closer to your city, that's when it starts having a big impact, right? So it was more so. And there was a couple raids like this over Berlin, the famous quote that's talked about where, Goering says, if you see an enemy bomber fly over Berlin, you can call me Meyer, right? So again, just the fact that that the Berliners did end up seeing Allied forces, Allied planes flying over Berlin and being able to execute their mission and return home again without causing mass damage, without, destroying the capital or anything like that. It didn't put the city out of action or out of commission, but it did have a huge impact psychologically on the citizenry of these cities, which is kind of what I relate this to in some sort of way. It's not going to shut down Moscow. It's not going to end the war in and of itself, but it does have huge psychological ramifications, not only to the citizens, but also to Putin and the government, knowing just how, incapable and inefficient their air defenses are. And just how, pretty much at will Ukraine with the correct amount of weapons and, striking the correct targets could do some serious, and has done and will continue to do serious damage.
He lost control of his own skies. The incident occurred overnight on October 26th into the early hours.
Right. So Uncle Mark, good point. Uncle Mark says sometimes the visual is more powerful than anything, right? So again, these Russians that have been seeing the strikes on Telegram or seeing them, wherever on RT or on Russian propaganda and, just kind of seeing it on TV is a lot different than actually physically experiencing and listening to the sound of drones go over the head of your city, or, strikes actually happening in your city where you're supposed to be, the most well protected in Moscow. You're supposed to be, the top of the tops, the high class of the high class. You're supposed to be the most well protected being in the capital there. So, it does have a huge impact when you see the explosions, when you hear the drones, and you know that you are on the chopping block. Like, this war does have the ability to come to your fucking doorstep at any moment. So you're 100% right, Mark. Good point there. I appreciate you, brother.
Of October 27th, when swarms of Ukrainian drones crossed the border and made a beeline for the Moscow region and several other regions around Western Russia. In total, the Russian Defense Ministry claimed to have intercepted 193 drones, including 40 over the Moscow region. The ministry went on to add that 34 of the drones in question were heading directly for the capital city itself when they were allegedly taken out, with several other regions including Kaluga, Bryansk, and Tula also targeted.
So a pretty sizable attack there, as you can see. Not going in or believing anything that the Russians say in terms of like how many they shot down, how many were intercepted or anything like that. But you can definitely tell as to just the amount of cities that were, targeted, that this was a pretty substantial attack, by the Ukrainian military and not something just kind of done willy-nilly here. But I'm going to see if I can look up in the background here anything on the Kyiv Independent that gives us maybe a little bit more information as to how this strike was conducted, how many drones were launched, that type of things, how many were successful, because obviously you can't take the word of the Russians for it. But I'll continue to play this.
47 UAVs were flown over the Bryansk region, 42 over the Kaluga region, 40 over the Moscow region, including 34 UAVs flying to Moscow, 32 over the Tula region, 10 over the Kursk region, 7 over the Oriol region, 4 over the Rostov region, 4 over the Voronezh region, 2 over the Orenburg region, 2 over the Tambov region, 1 over the Belgorod region, 1 over the Lipetsk region, and 1 over the Samara region. The mayor of Moscow, Sergei Sobyanin, also confirmed that dozens of Ukrainian drones have targeted the capital. He posted online throughout the night claiming that the city's air defenses were successfully repelling all incoming threats, while also warning locals about the risk of falling debris, with residents urged to remain at home. Meanwhile, 2 of Moscow's 4 principal airports, Domodedovo and Zhukovsky, were forced to temporarily suspend operations due to fears of further drone activity in the region.
Again, another minute detail that is bringing this, bringing this just a little closer to the Russian citizens, right? So again, they're now going after, they're just having to struggle through life just a little bit more. The people that their flights were delayed or probably canceled or whatever it may be, right? The people that thought they were safe in and around these cities and they didn't have to worry about it and the war's far off and, it's not something that we have to think about. Now we're thinking about it, even in the most, minute fucking way possible. In any, not in any way comparable to what anybody else is feeling, especially in Ukraine. But, again, just something to bring it to their doorstep, something to bring this, a little bit closer to them and make it a little bit more real that they're, again, in the fucking, they're in the firing path as well.
There were no reports of any major damage in Moscow, and the Kremlin was quick to claim that it had successfully shot down Kyiv's drones. However, as we know from past experience, Russian officials tend to have a very loose relationship with the truth. Russia will happily twist the narrative and spin statistics to suit its own agenda, covering up the parts it doesn't want the public to know about. However,
right, so basically stated, we cannot take their word for what the extent of the damage was, how many drones they shot down, that sort of thing, right? So, but that's why I kind of equate that to the Doolittle raid, where it was more a show of force, more a sign that we can do this, and not so much this is like an overwhelming trying to cripple you type of attack. Sort of thing, right? So, let's see. Dame says, Jake Bro showed those fiber optic drones. Very cool. I also love the Russian combat camel Ukraine. Yeah, right. I saw that. And yeah, that the fiber optic drones is something that we talked about yesterday on the show. Was it yesterday? We showed a pretty good United 24 documentary depicting, life on the front lines and the new use of these fiber optic drones and, just how difficult it is for them to be combated against. And not only that, but the devastation, the destruction that the drone nets and also the fiber optic cable itself has. Let me see if I can find a picture. Let's see. Cable on battlefield. Let's see if this brings it up. Because there's images that I've seen of just... Yeah, does this show that here? Maybe this will show it. Let me put this on this. I don't know if you can see this picture. I'll get myself out of the way. I'll blow this up a little bit. The picture on the right-hand side of the screen there. Oops, sorry. My apologies. I'm on the wrong one. Let me do this one. Oh, for crying out loud. This one. All right, so yeah, oops, stop this. So I don't know if you guys can see this on your screen. Hopefully you can. Let me see. It's this one right here. I'm going to make this full screen. But check out, take a look at this guy's feet, right? Take a look at what's going on with his feet. And I'll play it again. I'll start it from the beginning, right? Take a look at his feet. It almost looks like he's walking through spider webs, right? That's not spider webs, unfortunately. Right? That's not something that belongs in nature. That's not something that's going to disintegrate. That is all fiber optic cable, ladies and gentlemen. That is just strewn and left throughout the battlefield, throughout the forest, all over the roads, covering everything, right? Because once the drone goes out, it's got up to 30 kilometers of this shit spooled underneath it. And it's just kind of letting it out behind the drone as it's flying. So from the point of fucking takeoff to wherever that thing ends up, there's going to be a line of this shit going fucking straight to it in every move that you made, right? And again, this stuff is kind of dangerous. And in that documentary that we talked about, I didn't get to that part because of how long the documentary was, but they actually talk about how necessary it is to clean up the fiber optic cable, not only because of the destruction it can do to animals and the surrounding habitats, but also because it picks up light very well. And from above, it's very easy to spot the fiber optic cable, and it pretty much will, give you a detailed route sometimes back to where these drones are being launched if you follow it to its extent, right? So I just wanted to, this is what's going on with think of another 2 years too of fiber optic drone usage, and if it becomes more prevalent, just how much of this shit is going to be covering Ukraine, right? Look at all that. And it's covering the whole field, too. All on that left is just, no matter where you walk, you're going to be fucking covered in fiber optic cable. Just kilometers and kilometers and kilometers of fiber optic cable. It's fucking nuts. It's nuts. All right, what do you say before we run out of time? We head into our last video that I wanted to get to. Let me see if I can bring this up for you guys after talking about the strikes in Moscow there. We can put this on the screen because this is the I've Had It ladies, Jen and Pumps, if I'm not mistaken, with one of their latest videos talking about how Trump is slammed with bad news after leaked docs expose his third-term scheme. This was released, I think, this morning, roughly 3 hours or so ago. So what do you say we dive into this, and then I'll get you guys out of here and on your way for another lovely day. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that like button. Again, this is Jen and Pumps from the I've Had It podcast. Let's see what they got to say about old fucking fatty Kanks Orange Skin himself.
All right, Kanks took an animal identification photo test.
I love how everybody's calling it now an animal identification photo test. Like, did you take that test where you have to identify the fucking camel? Oh, hold on. I got something for that. Trump loves camels, doesn't he?
We appreciate those camels. I haven't seen camels like that in a long time.
He hasn't seen camels like that since the last time he took a dementia test. Oh, I love it.
This is literally like a picture of a giraffe. And they said, what animal is this? And he said giraffe. And then he bragged about it on Air Force One to the press. And then he challenged others to take the test with him because he claims he aced it, which we know if he's talking about
I don't understand like why this isn't the most prime piece of content like on the chopping block right now. Like, why wouldn't AOC, and I know they have to like some extent, talk back, they chatted back, clap back, I should say. But why they don't just like record themselves the whole time? Just record themselves taking this test, question for question, fucking word for word, answer for answer, and then just be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Right? Let's excuse me. And I know this test is online, but it'd be a lot more, prominent. It'd be a lot more widely seen if AOC were to, again, expose just every single one of these questions that Donald Trump says is like, the MCAS or, just like he took his SATs and got a perfect score on it. And meanwhile, it's, again, what would these people talking about? It's, name the camel, point to the lobster. Right? You guys can point to the lobster.
They've been conserved since the time of lobsters, right? There weren't trees around when lobsters first manifested themselves on the planet.
ad nauseum. And then if it escalated to an MRI, he failed it. We have full-blown dementia. So fresh off of that admission that he failed his animal identification, AKA the dementia test.
I can't get enough of the animal identification. I love it.
And fresh off of the lowest polling numbers this man has ever had, we're talking he is underwater approval rating in the 30s. We are just down to the absolute dipshit cultist right now. He puts out this banger on Lie Social after winning 3 elections.
All right, hold on. I'll let her read it.
By a lot. I am now getting the best polling numbers that I've ever received. People see how strong the economy is, the trillions of dollars of investment pouring into our country, the record-setting strong border after years of millions of criminals pouring through it, totally unvetted and unchecked, ending 8 wars in 8 months, no men playing in women's sports, no transgender for everyone, rapidly falling energy prices, and much more. Despite all of this, which everything that he just said was a lie, every single thing, the radical left losers are taking fake ads, not showing real polls, but rather saying that I'm polling at low levels. These are the people that I've been beating.
Like, what the fuck is this like new fake ad bullshit he's got going on? Like, didn't he just say Canada ran a fake ad having to do something with like Ronald Reagan and tariffs? Like what are these fake ads that he's talking about? Like, there's nothing faker and there's nothing more incorrect or unofficial or, fucking misinformative than anything he writes on True Social or anything that comes out of his own mouth. So the fact that he's now calling the polls fake isn't really surprising because that's what he does. But calling like ads fake again, like the ads should be removed because they're fake. I'm not even sure what that means. You can call them wrong, like you can call them incorrect, but how are they fake? Pretty sure they were made and they're real and they're on and they say shit, but you can disagree with what they say. But as far as the commercial being fake, that just doesn't make any sense.
For years, and I am continuing to do so, but by even bigger margins. These ads should not be allowed to.
It's a margin. Can we get that right? It's a margin.
Run because they are fake. This was at 1:03 a.m. I just want to put the timestamp. Everything in that was completely false. Investments are not pouring into the United States.
I'm sorry. We have at least $367 trillion sitting on a shelf somewhere right now. 300 400 506 it's $897 trillion now sitting on the shelf.
Shaking down people. This government shakes other governments down, and he is actually colluding with people who are our adversaries.
Right.
So that Jared Kushner and Kanks and his dipshit sons, Dumb and Dumber, can all get richer. And I cannot believe.
Oh, and again, did you see that James Comer? Hold on, let me see if I can pull this up for you. Speaking of Donald Trump getting richer, because James Comer was questioned about this on CNN about Donald Trump and his family raking in something like $900 million. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick before I get you guys out of here. Yeah, I think this is it right here. Share this tab instead.
And the Trump family's crypto venture.
Of course, he's on with fake Flappo too. All right, yeah, this is James Comer being asked about Donald Trump's crypto involvement, and if the fact that he's made about $900 million on the side, in a scheme that's not regulated as president of the United States is something that the guy that loves investigating Joe Biden, loves investigating the Biden family. Is this something that he's willing to take a look at as well? And let's hear what fucking Comer had to say.
I want to ask you one more thing before you go, as long as I have you, because you're chairman of the Oversight Committee. Right. There's a Reuters report today on the Trump family's crypto ventures. Based on the family's own financial disclosures, Reuters found the Trump organization's income from the first half of this year shot from $51 million to $864 million. About $800 million of that is from crypto, and the story details how most of the buyers are foreign investors and how all this money is going to belong to Trump when he leaves office. Is this something that you're going to look into at all?
Well, it's something that we are.
What I say there, Jake, or what I say is what I will say is what I can say, and what I should say is not what I'm going to say. But what I shall say is humana, no Joe Biden. It's like, can you? All right, you're the oversight committee. You're supposed to be doing oversight. We're now talking about the president here in an unregulated fucking scheme, making almost $1 billion fucking dollars, and you're still going to talk about what, Hunter Biden's dick or something like that? Is that what we're still talking about? Crack pipes and shit? Is this something you may want to look into? And James Comer's answer is I sure won't. Well, maybe not. Joe Biden.
Like you reading about this, we're trying to digest it.
Are you're digesting it? And this is the new thing. You'll hear this from mealy mouth Mike Johnson, Mr. fucking porn app himself, talking about all the time where it's like, we're when asked a question by a reporter with something that he doesn't like or doesn't want to talk about, we're just trying to digest this in a factual matter, and we'll get back to you in the most inconvenient time possible for us and for you. But no, we just looked at this, haven't really read too much into it. That stripping health care from millions of Americans and disallowing the poorest people the ability to get SNAP benefits and stuff. Haven't read about it, haven't heard about it, but we'll be sure to look into it.
The difference between the way the Trump family's operating and the
did his head get more square? Like, is his head been in a fucking? Looks like he's been in a mold. Looks like his head's been in a fucking square mold since the last time he was on television. Is anybody else getting that? But I do say I got my head stuck in the square hole. I thought it was the round hole, but it ended up being that square hole. I ain't the brightest bulb in the tree, but shit, I've been stuck there for 3 months. Look at the square head I got now. Fuck.
Biden family they're admitting they're doing this. The president.
I'm just going to play that moment one more time. I'm just going to play this one more time. And again, this is a member of the Oversight Committee, if not the fucking chair of the Oversight Committee, if I'm getting that wrong. Forgive me if I'm getting that wrong. But this guy is literally saying that it's okay because Trump is admitting that they're doing it, is literally what he just said. I don't necessarily mind what he's doing. I know he stole $1 billion in an unregulated fucking situation, but as president of the United States, but I do say, at least he's saying that he's a crook.
In the Biden family they're admitting they're doing this.
So he says the only difference between the Trump family and the Biden family is that the Trump family is admitting that they're doing this. Okay, so usually an admission is something that you did wrong, correct? Like if you're admitting to something, you're admitting to guilt or, intent or coercion or cooperation or involvement. You don't just, fucking admit to nothing. You know what I mean? He literally just said, but at least they admit it. At least they admit they're shady, shisty, fucking criminal fucks.
The president campaigned as a business guy. I'm not defending the policy. I think there needs to be ethics reform.
Sounds to me like you're defending the policy. Sounds to me like that's exactly what you're doing by, talking about him as a businessman. And again, in an unregulated fucking situation, in an unregulated fucking, area of business here in his crypto shit. But no, again, James Comer not going to dick pics. Yes. Crack pipes. Yes. $1 billion made by the president illegally. No.
And I had a bill that Jamie Raskin
killed
last session because he thought that Kamala Harris was going to win the presidency.
It's Kamala Harris, you fucking square-headed prick.
But it would have increased the disclosure. So as long as
disclosure, I mean, shit, disclosure is all that I'm worried about. As long as he's disclosing his crimes, what do I got to say? He's putting his crimes on paper. It's right there. No crackpot, no dick pics. So we're all good.
You disclose your income and disclose the
crimes, not income, crimes.
The sources. I think that's acceptable.
Okay, so what are the sources? What are the sources of the income in this crypto? Who's invested into this crypto scheme? Is there a list of foreign adversaries? Is there a list of foreign entities that we could look at where we could see line by line how much they've invested into Donald Trump's crypto and then exactly what they've gotten in return for those backdoor fucking shady investments that we don't know about? Because how ridiculous is it to say in an unregulated fucking area of fucking business that everything is transparent and that we know where the money's coming from and that why Donald Trump is putting in the policies that he's putting in place, right? Like, it's crazy.
If you lie about the income, you say, I never received money from China, and then we subpoena your bank records and there's $5 million from China.
Kind of like the time when Donald Trump lied and said that he didn't pay more to China. The year he paid the United States $750 in federal taxes. I think it was something like a couple $100,000 he paid to China. That same, like that's, you talking about kind of like a similar situation like that, James? Fucking foghorn.
I think that's a problem. So, I think it's a legitimate question. A lot of people are concerned, especially since the crypto industry isn't regulated. But
you think?
If my position now is as long as the president's disclosing this, and they're filling out disclosures and they're answering questions. He answers questions about it. If you ask him about his crypto, he'll say, yes, they've got the best crypto country in the world. Now,
the best crypto country in the world, does he? Is that what he'd say? I'm sure that's probably what he'd say because he's a fucking moron and his brain is melting out of his earlobes, rapidly by the moment. So I wouldn't put it past him to say that he has the best crypto country in the world. But that, again, makes absolutely no sense. But let's just fucking rewind that for a second. Listen to what James Comer doesn't care about.
Closing this, and they're filling out disclosures, and they're answering questions. He answers.
As long as they're filling out disclosures, as long as the disclosures are filled out, as long as Donald Trump fills out his disclosures, then it's all set. Doesn't matter if what's on the disclosures is bullshit. Doesn't matter if what's on the disclosures is informationally incorrect, right? Doesn't matter if it's a lie or if he's just admitting to crimes. But as long as it's on the fucking disclosures, he's all set.
There's questions about it. If you ask him about his crypto, he'll say, yes, they've got the best crypto country in the world. Now, do the voters like that?
Do. I'm loving it. The fucking guy, he's so fucking frazzled. He just turned himself into a McDonald's commercial. A do. Either that or he's in a fucking doo-wop band all of a sudden, and he just brought himself back to the fucking garage during practice. A do. I'm loving it. Fucking idiot.
I think that's going to be an issue in the next presidential election. I think it's a fair question, but from an ethics,
do you think it's a fair question as to why or how or if it's legal that the president made almost $1 billion behind the scenes in an unregulated fucking crypto farm? It's a legitimate question. I'm glad you allowed us that at least that much leeway. I really do appreciate it there, James. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you're tuning in tonight, 8:30 on the East Coast, 5:30 here on the West Coast. Again, I'll be diving into more videos for Jesse, making sure we're getting ready for his channel. So it's going to be a busy day. Hopefully I can, squeeze in setting up another 2-hour show in there tonight somehow and still manage to get this all done because I'm sweating bullets. I'm nervous, but that's what it's got to be. Hopefully it's a great opportunity. I know it's a great opportunity, so hopefully I can get it done for everybody and keep everybody happy and keep the wheels turning on both channels. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much to everybody on this space. Thank you to everybody over there as far as mods and Matt. Thank you so much to Jeff. Jeff's going to be following up next on this space, so make sure you're heading over there. Please give him a like. Please give him a follow. Shout out to you, my man, Jeff, and thank you to everybody over on this space. I'll toss it over to you guys now. I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. All right, and then you fantastic people here on the Blunt Politics side of things. Let me make sure I am giving everybody their proper shout-outs. Let me sure I'm giving everybody their proper recognition. I'm going to go to Venmo, see if anybody was kind enough to shoot out an old Venmo today, and if not, we'll jump right into the people that were kind enough to hit a milestone or donate or give something on YouTube. Let me just see here. Transactions. I want to say thank you to Nancy again, Jenny Faye, thank you so much, and Moms, thank you so much, and Dame, thank you so much as well. I appreciate you guys for keeping this channel running. Let's see here. Let's see, El Rondo, you will have 15,000 subs by month's end. Wouldn't that be fantastic? Wouldn't that be fantastic? But again, I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. I'm definitely sweating out this trying to cover. It's a lot. I'm used to doing live shows, right? So I've kind of obviously doing 4 days of live shows a week. I've kind of formed the channel around that. So it's difficult to be able to put out the scheduled formed videos, while you're used to doing the lives, but we're going to make it happen. We're going to make it work. I know we can get there. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate your support, your encouragement. Let's get into thanking some people here on YouTube because there are some fabulous people I do want to thank. Captain PJ, let's fucking go, brother. Shout out to you. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted memberships. I really do appreciate that. Huge contribution to the channel. Same as Kim. Congratulations and shout out to you for being a member for 4 months. And you're absolutely right on what you said. Thank you so much, Veronica. Thank you so much, Jeff. Shout out to you guys. We have a new Caliphate Ice Is. I appreciate that, Jeff. I appreciate that. Might have to be a t-shirt at some point, my dude. Jeff, congratulations and shout out to you on being here for 14 months. It's the poor that are shaken down for his loyalty. Absolutely. You're 100% right. And then rounding it out, I believe, is El Stinko Farce. Good to see you, my man. Good to see you. I appreciate you. Congratulations to you. Shout out and thank you for being here and a member for 18 months. That's fucking incredible. Why the fuck are they so scared to call it out? I'm assuming you're talking about the media and everybody else, or just the mealy mouth Republicans. It's because they're exactly that. They're weak, ineffective, incompetent, not actual real men, not people that want to stand up for their beliefs or their principles or their or their policies that they believe in. They're just weak. That's all there is. They're just weak. And, the media is just scared that they're going to lose money in a lawsuit or get on the wrong side of Donald Trump, and it's going to cost them dollars in the back end. So that's all that is too. But I got to head out. I have a bunch of stuff to get to. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you this afternoon. Hopefully I don't have to take some time and continue doing the videos. I appreciate it, guys. I'll see you later on. Make sure you tuned in. Like I said, 8:30 Eastern, 5:30 here on the Pacific Coast. And I'll see you later. I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
sloppy United States.